Hi, welcome. Welcome. I'm Jessica, and I'm a hypnotherapist and a life coach. And I'm also a former hardcore wino, someone who drank every single day. Whether I was drunk or not, I drank every day. Um, um, I never thought that I would be otherwise. I was so enamored and protective of my drinking that for a long, long time, I just wouldn't even look at it. Um, and I never thought it was going to go anywhere. But it's a completely different life that I'm living now. And I'm making this class because if you are in the position where I was, or you find yourself in damaging drinking habits, or you're a binge drinker, or you chronically drink every day when you get home, and that's something you want to change, my whole purpose in doing this is to let you know that it's completely possible. If someone like me could do it, and there's millions and billions and trillions of people who have done it, how are you any different? And I also want to add that I consider moving away from alcohol as part of a healing journey, or as part of a spiritual process. And it is a process and it is a journey. It's not the flip of a switch and suddenly things are different. You can have those moments, of course, epiphany moments, insight moments. Those are wonderful and beautiful. But the main thing to remember is that it's a journey. It's a journey that you're on. It's a journey that you've been on. You're in this human life as a journey. And so healing from alcohol addiction or misuse or alcohol use disorder, moving away from that does take some time, and it takes a lot of patience with yourself, compassion for yourself. Community really helps. Finding some sort of structure or system that you can use or put yourself through really helps. And so um, I'd like to share with you what I've personally done, what has worked phenomenally for me. And I work with other women and people for this exact same issue, and it's been working for them as well, is to use the tools that you have, which is your body and your mind. And how can you get those things in alignment so that you don't feel this sense of conflict, or that you don't feel cognitive dissonance, believing separate things and doing things that feel out of alignment for what you really want to be experiencing in your life, who you really perceive yourself to be. And so everyone has this ability. We all have a body and we all have a mind. And it's also important to remember that we are not those things. We are inside of our body and we have a mind, but we are a soul or a spirit that animates the body and uses the mind to experience life with the body. And so it's really important to remember that we are not what we think, and we are not what we do. We are somewhat behind the scenes of that, like observing and witnessing the experience of the human being that we're being. That's my context anyhow. And that really helps me be nice to myself, understanding, and to really stay in this human experience and think of it as part of a journey and a learning experience in its totality, even though we have had experiences that hurt us. Maybe you're in an experience right now, or you're in a pattern right now that is hurting you. And so just to know that you are going through that for lessons learned, it is part of your path, and you don't need to dismiss those parts of yourself. Everything about you is valid. Everything that you've felt and all the experience that you've had is so valid. And so to not dismiss yourself, or to try to cut part of yourself off and put that away. It's incorporating the wholeness of you that will get you through to the other side, where you feel like you won't have to hide or self-soothe or to use coping mechanisms like codependency in other people or addiction to substance. So I would like to share this with you. I made some slides to help us understand the details a little better. Pardon me, I need a secretary. Move it. Voila. Okay. Okay. So how hypnotherapy and meditation can heal your alcohol addiction. They can certainly help, but they can also certainly move you through to the other side of feeling like you're addicted or having addictive tendencies. I think Okay. So in my working with women, I've been working with women for alcohol use disorder for 2.5, almost 3 years now. And having been through this whole experience and process myself firsthand, two things that I see, two of the main causes about why you may feel like you're addicted to drinking alcohol is, one, you have a belief that alcohol is helping you, that it's helping you sleep, that it's helping you not feel stressed, that it's helping you have fun, that it's giving you company, that it's your friend. There's a whole host of beliefs, and for sure there's more than one. There's probably one main one that incorporates a bunch of other ones, but inevitably someone who's addicted to drinking alcohol has a slew of beliefs that are keeping the habit intact. Okay, beliefs that are making it okay for you to keep drinking, beliefs that tell you that alcohol is helping you, therefore you need it, therefore it's okay. I really had a strong belief that alcohol helped me manage my stress. I have 4 kids and I have my own business and so many things, right? Like all of us do. Like we could all just tick off these boxes about why we are so stressed and why we need alcohol to help us. My belief was that alcohol really helped me manage my stress, and it helped me raise my kids. It helped me be a better mom. And as long as I was telling myself that and making that true, it made it okay for me to keep doing it, right? Because it had to be, you have to follow suit with what you believe, right? You're not going to do anything that you believe is out of alignment for your identity. So your beliefs constitute part of your identity, which is why shifting beliefs is so cool. It goes into the whole shifting yourself into an evolved version of you. You can change your identity by changing your beliefs. So that's one. And two is, at an earlier time in your life, as far back as childhood for most people, and whatever happened there kind of reoccurs, or other things have happened and became compounded. At an earlier time in life, you became disassociated from yourself and from your body. And so now you use alcohol to co-regulate, to soothe, or to cope. I'll explain what I mean about that a little bit more. So first, let's look at, you have a belief that alcohol is helping you. You might have some or all of these. All of these are really common ones. That alcohol helps me sleep. It relieves my stress. It relieves my boredom. It makes me not feel something, or it makes me feel something I'd rather feel instead. It changes my state, a state change, or people want to get a buzz or get high, or they are uncomfortable with the normalcy or the boredom of life. So they just want some excitement. You maybe have a belief that it alters your personality, that it makes you more likable, fun, or exciting, or more social. It may probably a belief that it makes you sexy, or that it gives you confidence. Maybe there's a belief that it allows you to tune out. That one's probably true. It certainly does allow you to turn out, because it dulls all of your senses and it slows down the firing of your neurons. And so it certainly helps you tune out. But if you want to tune out and you believe that it's helping you tune out, then that's a gain, and you're going to go for the gain. So you're going to keep following the belief that alcohol is helping you. Maybe you believe that it's the only way you can get a break. Like, as long as you're drinking, it's like considered you're on your off time, or that you've punched the clock for the day and now it's time to be done. Maybe you have a belief that it gives you something to do. It's an activity in and of itself. You're sitting and having a drink. That's something to do. Or you need plans to do with people, or something to do on a date, or something to sit around and do with friends. It gives you something to do. Alcohol as an activity in and of itself. It allows you to not pay attention, kind of the same as tuning out. Okay, or to not pay attention to something that maybe you don't have the capacity to pay attention to, something that is causing you a lot of pain or discomfort, grief or sadness. Maybe there's a heavy or an intense emotion associated with what you don't want to pay attention to, and therefore you're drinking to not pay attention to it. So the belief that is helping you not have to pay attention to it. Okay, and as long as you believe something to be true, you'll go out and seek validation for it. This is called our confirmation bias, right? Like, if I believe that I'm stupid, for example, and I make a mistake, I will then say, see, it's because I'm stupid. So of course I do stuff like that. It's because I'm stupid. So, right, if that's a belief that I have, that I'm stupid or that I'm inept in some way, and then anything that I do or that's around me backs up or confirms that belief, I will grab onto that, even though there might be a myriad of other things that prove otherwise. Our mind filters those out because it filters through information through our beliefs. Yeah. So as long as you believe something to be true, you're going to keep doing it to prove it right, and you're going to seek validation for it. So let's get another example. So if you believe that alcohol relieves your boredom, you're going to drink, you're going to feel a bit of a head change and be like, see, there it is. That's what I was looking for. Bored, now no longer bored. Now I'm just in a state of kind of, the swimmy state, the buzzy state, a different state than you were in. How are you telling yourself that alcohol is helping you? What are some of the stories or the beliefs that you're toting around that you're then acting on and seeking validation for? Really ask yourself that question. It's really important to know, because if you want to dismantle the habit, you have to know what's running it. You have to know the mechanisms behind it that are keeping it intact and keeping it functioning. Or I like to word this differently. How are you telling yourself that alcohol is helping you? Or how are you rationalizing your decision so that you won't feel bad for doing it, right? Because we have to feel like we're in accordance. Our identity is, beliefs are a part of our identity, right? And we can only really do things that feel like they're who we are. We don't do things that are out of character for us. So if you have beliefs that alcohol is helping you, that's part of your identity, your actions are going to follow suit because it's all in alignment with who you believe yourself to be. The cool thing about beliefs is that they are constructs and that they're fabrications, and we made them up somewhere along the journey of our life at a time when we were trying to make sense of the world, or trying to make sense of things that happened to us, or trying to make sense of ourselves. This whole mystery of life that we don't know, so we make up meaning for it as we go. We forget that we made up these beliefs, and then they become stored in our subconscious, right? So we sort of lose access to them because they're not at the forefront of our thinking anymore. If you've been thinking something for a long time. And those of us who are working through an alcohol addiction, it's probably been with you for a long time. It's probably been with you for years, if not decades. For me, my habit was 2.5 decades old by the time I finally changed it. So yeah, if you can't see it, you can't change it. And so that's why it's really crucial to get honest with yourself. Just get honest with yourself. There's no shame in telling yourself a different story. It's so exciting. Actually, it feels scary at first because it's a foreign territory. Your mind's not comfortable with that. Your mind likes comfort too. It likes the same. It likes routines. It likes habits, because that makes living life easier. It's like the well analogy, right? People go and then they find a well, and then instead of going to the well every day, and you've been going, instead of going and walking to the well and carrying water back to the village, ultimately someone said, hey, the well's over here. And then another person said, oh, why don't we find a way to bring the well to us? Oh, why don't we construct a pipeline? Oh, why don't we put the water through into our houses, right? And then you get indoor plumbing and filtered water eventually, because that is an evolution that made life easier instead of going back to the well every time. And that's what habits do. They make your life easier. They put something on the back burner so you don't have to think about it anymore. So habits are also solving a problem for you. So if you look at some of these examples, those could be considered in the context of a problem. So I do this a lot. A problem might be that you feel bored and you want to change that. And so you found at some point in time that alcohol was able to alter your state, then no longer feeling bored, like, oh, what is this sensorial buzzy feeling that I'm feeling? This is new, this is exciting, right? And then you keep doing it, it loses its luster over time. And also as your synapses begin to misfire, you can't ever achieve that virginal feeling, right? It's like when you've been with somebody for a long time, you don't have that first falling in love feeling anymore because your brain is so accustomed, it becomes accustomed. So we try to achieve the original feeling, but it's actually impossible. We're seeking it from a source outside of ourselves. In that example, in the form of other people or in substance. All right. So where do these beliefs come from? Well, first of all, beliefs are thoughts that you think repeatedly. And you think them so much and so often that they just become part of the background noise of the way that you're talking to yourself. I'm a this, I'm a that. We cease to even notice or acknowledge those types of things that we're saying to ourselves. So thoughts create your feelings. Thoughts don't create emotions. Emotions and feelings are different. And that's kind of beyond the scope of this class, but thoughts create your feelings. Thoughts give you a charge in your body. Thoughts can create a state in and of themselves, right? If I'm laboring on the thought that, oh my God, it's so hard when my kids come home from school. Oh my God. And oh, they're going to want this, they're going to do that. Like before it's even happened, I've created a state inside my body that feels like stress, that feels like annoyance, that feels like frustration, just by the way that I'm thinking about it alone. Okay. And so by changing my thoughts, by changing your thoughts, you can give yourself a different feeling. There's so much power in the way that you're thinking. Your thinking actually creates a cascade of hormones that elicit an electrical response in your body, AKA a feeling state. And emotions are different. Emotions must be processed by the body, and they're actually beyond, they can overlap, but they're beyond the control of thought alone. But feelings drive your behavior, right? If I feel stressed, what am I going to do to change that state? Or if I feel happy, maybe I feel like exercising, or maybe I feel like creating something, right? And depending on what you do, your behavior, your actions, that is the way you move your body through space and how you interact it with other people and the elements and this matrix and planet that we live in, that will give you your experience of life. That gives you your experience of life. And so if you want a different experience of life, you need to change your behaviors. And if you want to change your behaviors, you want to feel differently. And the quickest way to feel differently is to be able to observe your thoughts. Notice that your thoughts are not you, that you're generating them. You're generating them. And if your thoughts are just like, just like going a mile a minute, and you're just allowing them to be like free range, then your actions kind of look like that too. Like you don't have control over them, or you don't have control over yourself. But the truth is you do have control over your thoughts. You do have control over your thoughts, and it takes practice to notice that. It takes awareness, and you can build and cultivate awareness. It's called mindfulness. It's called meditation. It's called being with yourself, right? That you have everything that you need. You don't need anything outside of you, is my point. So beliefs are repeated thoughts or thought patterns. You keep thinking something over and over again. You cease to even conscientiously think about it. It's put into the back burner of your mind. It becomes part of your subconscious mind. And the subconscious is the home of our habits, the home of our behavior. It's the home of our memory. We'll get into that in a minute. But so if beliefs are repeated thoughts or patterns, and habits are repeated actions or patterns of behavior, then habits are run by beliefs. You're going to do things that feel in accordance with who you believe yourself to be. Yeah. All right. Okay. Let's talk about trauma for a minute. So traumatic events and experiences are on a spectrum, just like everything else, right? So you may have severe trauma or mild trauma in comparison to somebody else. But no matter the intensity or the frequency, trauma stays in the body. It stays in the body, and it affects our ability to be with ourselves. So there's something there that wasn't addressed appropriately. It wasn't handled well at a moment in time. And that creates an energy, a stuck energy in the body that doesn't go anywhere unless it is felt and paid attention to and allowed to move and process out. It's the cause of so much anxiety, depression, feelings of obsession, right? Wanting to get away from this internal state that goes with you wherever you go. wherever you go, there you are. And that's what I feel like this means that. This means that to me in a huge way, because we carry with us the memories of our past, the experience of our past. It's like that book, if you've read it, The Body Keeps the Score, right? We have cellular memory of everything that's ever happened to us in our lifetime, in the womb, and depending on your beliefs, perhaps in past lifetimes as well. We carry all of that with us. And this is also what is meant by carrying generational trauma. As long as we are unable to look at or to process the things that we carry with us, we'll continue to carry them with us. And we pass them on to our offspring, or we pass them on to even energetically the people that we cohabitate with or that we're in relationship with. All of this is like, it moves out of us like a ripple effect. And so to be able to sit with yourself and to allow these things to move through and up and out of the body creates so much freedom. It creates a sense of safety inside yourself, so you don't need to seek out substance or co-regulation with anyone else or anything else, because you can find it within yourself. So trauma is not the event itself. It's how we internalize the energy of what happened. That is being traumatized. And my definition of that is what I said earlier. At a time earlier in life, you became disassociated from yourself and from your body. And now you use alcohol to co-regulate, to soothe, or cope, because this is a lingering effect and aftermath from a situation that still exists within you. And in your desire to escape it, you're constantly moving away from it instead of sitting in it and letting it move around and to loosen and to break apart and to be, I don't know, like the word exercise, but kind of reminds me of The Exorcist. Yeah, I guess allows it to be liberated from the body, from your body. I'll give you an example of myself. I grew up with an emotionally abusive parent. I was yelled at all the time. I was screamed at all the time. To even say that just like triggers me, makes me feel waves of emotion. But in comparison to how I used to be, I'm not pretending that anything should be otherwise. It is part of my history. It's part of the fabric of me. It's an imprint on the journey of my soul as I'm moving through this lifetime. And so it's not the event itself, right? Almost everybody I know has a traumatic experience in childhood that they can recount. It doesn't matter the severity, right? It could be that, you know, you were yelled at for not putting your shoes on correctly, or that you were not picked for softball, or that even, you know, or that you were sexually traumatized. It's the event in itself is not the pinnacle. It is how you held on to it inside your body. And when we're young, we just don't know. We don't know how to respond to those things, right? So humans, little kids, are designed to develop their nervous system alongside their parents or their caregivers. If you think of this energetically, that's why kids want to be close to their adults. They want to physically be close, because the energy of your nervous system, the energy of a parent's or a caregiver's nervous system actually is compensating for the underdeveloped nervous system of a child. And so if a child has an experience where they become upset, or they're in shock, or they are seeking some sort of soothing and they can't get it from the parent, and they get it from the parent or the caregiver just by the calmness and the presence and the attention that that parent or caregiver is able to give them. And this is not a blame our parents or our caregivers approach by any means, because they only knew what they knew and they only did the best that they could do and they're probably coming from a line of traumatized people themselves, for sure, carrying generational trauma themselves. And so if a parent or a caregiver turned away from you when you were a child, couldn't be there for you, responded to you inappropriately, shocked you, scared you, a whole host of things that happen in our past cause us to be traumatized, cause us to not be able to develop the nervous system. We all have healthy nervous system, by the way, but we're practiced in a way that if you are living from a trauma response, we're practiced in a way to either freeze or flight or fawn or fight, right? Those are the 4 F's of the nervous system response. The other response is to let things flow through the body as the body is designed to do. And we can all get back to this state, but it takes practice and it takes awareness and it takes patience with yourself. It's like it's a healing and it's a repair, and it can totally be done. So in the moment of a traumatizing incident, the repair is more important than the rupture, than what happened, right? Because stressors are going to happen. Bad things are going to happen, or things that we wouldn't wish would happen do happen to us. But it's the way that we are held or met in that moment, the way that our nervous system can then be calmed when we're young by a parent or a caregiver who would ideally have the ability to do this, that we can then feel soothed. Our body can find its ability to self-regulate in and of itself. But most of our nervous systems weren't taught to do this. So what happens if the parents themselves are traumatized and have reactive tendencies rather than a healthy response or no response? Children develop nervous systems that are still seeking that sense of comfort and safety, and they find it in forms of other people, known as codependency or substance addiction. And this is why if you never repair the root cause of an addiction, the addiction will just continue to morph. So say you had a sugar addiction when you were a child, but then you learned that that was not good for you. So you put down the sugar and you never do that, but then maybe you picked up smoking. And then maybe you learned, oh, smoking is not good for me. So then you put down smoking, and you pick up alcohol, or some sort of series of morphing, or maybe it's an overlapping of one or more. So, pardon me. So, but in this case, I believe that we are all here because we've had an addiction to alcohol. We're working through an addiction to alcohol. And from this event, from these traumatic events, beliefs are born, right? If something happens to a child, oops, pardon me, I hit a myself. Oops, sorry about that. Okay. So children develop beliefs that tend to be self-negating. And this is why, because our mind is designed for survival. That's its job. It wants to survive. It wants to not feel pain. It wants to go for pleasure. It wants to feel safe. And so if we are growing up in an environment that we feel unsafe, or if our parent or our caregiver could not provide that for us, a child's mind, especially under the age of 7, develops beliefs that something is wrong with her or him. We make something wrong about us when we're young because we can't make something wrong with our caregiver or our parent, because then that means that we're in danger. If at a very young age, a child has a belief that their parent or caregiver is dangerous or is going to hurt them, or they can't be with them, then that puts the mind in danger. That's a threat. The mind perceives that as a threat. So what it does instead is it turns on itself, and we make things wrong with us. And that's how we end up with some of these beliefs that sound like, I'm a loser, I can't do anything right, I'm set up for failure, things don't work out for me, oh, it's because I'm this way, that way, this way, it's because I'm this. Our mind does that as a survival. And so the problem is we don't drop those beliefs off when they're not useful to us anymore. Those beliefs help us survive at a time. But later in life, if we haven't rectified those beliefs, looked at them and changed them, then they come back to haunt us in a way that looks like we are self-defeating, that we're self-sabotaging, that we're working against ourselves because we're acting on a belief that is so old that doesn't serve us anymore. Okay. So why meditation? Well, meditation, when done properly and regularly, and again, meditation is a practice. It needs to be built into a lifestyle habit. It needs to be created as a lifestyle habit. because it's not like you go eat one healthy meal and then, or you're surprised why you didn't lose 5 pounds, or you go to the gym once and then you try to be a triathlete. It's a practice. It's a practice. And when done regularly, it helps heal and repair the nervous system. It helps the body systems return to homeostasis. It repairs the telomeres. The telomeres are the protective caps at the end of your chromosomes. And alcohol actually unravels them. It wears them down. So your chromosome strands are actually becoming frayed at the ends. Physically, this is what's happening. And when that happens, it accelerates the aging process. We become more prone to dementia or to any sort of predisposition that our genes are carrying. And so the telomeres are super important, and meditation helps repair them. It's so cool. Meditation also allows you to witness your thoughts and to be with your feelings and emotions instead of trying to escape them. So most of us, many people I know, start the day with their phone and coffee, and that right away puts you in a state of activation and puts you in a state of feeling ahead of yourself or outside of yourself. The best thing you can do in the morning, as early as you can, depending on what your responsibilities are in the morning, is to sit and be with yourself in a meditative state. And that doesn't mean achieving nirvana, right? Meditation really is just sitting and noticing your breathing and noticing your body and becoming aware of the experience of being a soul or a spirit inside of your body, and that you can notice your thoughts. Because if you can see your thoughts, you're not your thoughts. If you can notice your body, you're not your body. So you are something else. You are the witnesser. You are like the control mechanism behind all of this. So nothing is happening to you without your consent, right? That's really what it means, is that you have full control over yourself and your life experience when you get control of your mind and your thoughts, first of all. So if you're not allowing yourself to just sit and be uncomfortable at the beginning of establishing a meditation practice, well, that's what it's like with your eyes open, right? If you have your eyes closed and you're trying to begin a meditation practice, you've probably had this experience, and it's just like, oh, you start singing a song and then you've got like your to-do list pops in, and then it's like, oh, what did I do last night? Oh, I'm hungry. It's like, woo, that's all happening with your eyes open as well. And if your thoughts are going like this, your behavior is going like this, because your behavior follows suit on the heels of your thoughts. So when you give yourself the commitment that you're going to sit and become a meditator and do this as early as you can, first thing in the morning, you give yourself such an advantage. I'm going to plug my computer in. You give yourself a huge advantage for the trajectory of your day ahead, and you're also training yourself how to control your thoughts so you don't feel like your behavior is out of control. It begins with this. And another thing that I think is really interesting is if you look at people in recovery, people who are on a healing journey, many of them, depending on their schedule and their working hours, become hardcore dedicated morning people, because you cannot be a vampire of the night and also be a dedicated morning person. They're mutually exclusive. You cannot be a meditator and a nightly drinker. You're gonna, if you're trying to do both, one of them will have to win, right? But if you give strength and emphasis to the action that you'd rather have, the lifestyle that you'd rather have, the person that you'd rather become, and put your emphasis there, the other one will naturally wane. You'll start to think in the nighttime, when you're busting out your drinks and going through that process, actually your mind will go to, how do I want to feel in the morning? Actually, that's what I do in the morning. And this starts to look so much more appealing than what you've been doing. You have to give yourself new practices, new rituals, start to train your brain in a new way. And establishing a regular meditation practice is the fastest, the easiest. I'm not gonna say it's the fastest, but it's the easiest thing to implement. You can get like the Insight Timer app, the Calm app. If it's really hard for you just at first to just sit and be with your own thoughts, well, then put a marker in your day, an indicator in your day. Like when I wake up at this time, first I go pee and I drink water, and then I sit and meditate. Do it in the same place every day. Help building these connections, these associations in your mind of what your body does, right? You're teaching your body a new habit as well, because then when you stop conscientiously trying to have yourself do it, your body craves it. Your body wants to go for it, just in the exact same way that it has done with alcohol, right? Oh, yeah. Okay, so why hypnotherapy? I love hypnotherapy. Hypnotherapy has helped me. I quit smoking with hypnotherapy. I'm not gonna say that I quit drinking. I'm gonna stop doing 40 fingers because I may drink in the future, but I'm at this time of this recording, haven't drank for weeks, and I have no plans to drink in the future. And that just feels amazing. It feels amazing. And I've been able to do this with meditation and hypnotherapy. So why hypnotherapy? Because your subconscious is the vastness of your entire experience of the journey of your soul through past lifetimes, if you believe in past lifetimes, through the womb, through birth, and through up to this point where you find yourself physically alive and breathing right now, right? Your subconscious records all of this as a vast archive of your experience. Everything you've ever felt, said, thought, did is all stored here. It also stores the mechanisms of habit, things that have become a rote task, things that you don't think about anymore, like probably the way that you're drinking, right? Just like in the well example, like we don't do that work all the time. Your mind goes, oh, let's make this easy. Oh, you found a way to relieve stress. Poof, easy. Put that on the back burner. And then your body remembers, oh, that's a cellular memory, right? That's your body's just like automatically seems to be going for alcohol. And this is why. It's because you've done it so often for so long that it's just become stored in the realm of your subconscious. It's no longer immediately accessible to your prefrontal cortex, to your conscious mind, where you're trying to make these decisions, right? For having a healthier life, for moving away from alcohol. Maybe you have goals and aspirations, but they're being thwarted by your alcohol habit, right? And that's like where this frustration comes from. Like you want something, but then you're shooting yourself in the foot over here. And this is why. It's because it's stored in an even deeper place of you. And the way you get access to this deeper place of you is in flow states, right? Like when you're engaged in a creative process, or when you're driving on a really long road that no one's on, that is very familiar to you. It's also that state from when you're first falling asleep from being awake, and when you're first waking up from being asleep. That is an alpha brave wave state. And in that state, we're very suggestible, and we have like that's when inspiration comes. To me, I say that's when the muse bothers me. Like I get my best ideas at those times, like right when I'm falling asleep, I'm like, I gotta write this down. Or in the morning, right when I'm waking, right? If you can gently bring yourself from that state, from waking into sleep, there's such richness there. There's so many waking slowly, right? Waking slowly without immediately grabbing for your phone, hopefully being bothered by people. I know that happens to me. But if you can linger in that moment, there's amazing inspiration there. There's memory recall there. There's a wealth of information about the potentiality of who you can be. And hypnotherapy induces this state on purpose and intentionally, right? You're relaxed into a state where your conscious mind is not chattering away at you and having the regular self-talk that normally comes with your normal waking state. You get in a very relaxed state, and you have access to this entire archive of who you've been. And you can then access the pinnacle points of traumatic times, not to relive them, but to reframe them and to give yourself the opportunity to see that experience with an adult mind of who you used to be and what you made up about yourself at the time that you've now carried into adulthood. So you're able to your conscious mind and your subconscious mind can kind of get on board together, and you can go, oh my God, why do I even think that? I don't think that about myself anymore. I can see why I thought that at a time. Yes, that made sense. It no longer makes sense for me now at this stage of my life. So it allows you to reframe meanings that you made up about yourself in the past, beliefs that you've been carrying around, self-limiting beliefs that are now in your way and not helping you. It also allows you to just really be with the greater sense of yourself. It allows you to explore all of these other places than your typical go-tos, than the typical things that you normally think. Or, if something is suggested to you, your mind doesn't go, oh, I already know about that. It's like you're in this really beautiful place of being able to listen to yourself, to listen to your greater sense of knowing, the wiser, deeper part of you. And so what needs to happen is your nervous system needs to feel safe. So you don't seek comfort and safety outside of yourself in the forms of other people or substance. Okay, and alcohol, though you may have a belief or a story that it's helping you or that it's reducing your stress or helping you sleep, it is completely effing with your nervous system. The way your nervous system, right, is the way that your body and your brain are communicating with each other about safety, about its needs, how to get its needs met, the body's needs, right? And alcohol creates confusion. It misfires, your neurons misfire, your brain starts to go offline, like starting with your logical thinking. That's the first thing that sort of becomes numbed out when you're in a drinking episode. My husband's home. He's going to be like, mostly he's like Ricky Ricardo. Quiet. So the solutions, right? Oh, alcohol interferes with you both in the moment and then as an after effect, right? As a hangover, but also as your body is trying to repair itself from drinking an alcoholic drink, even one, right? Sadly, studies show that after sipping an alcoholic drink, alcohol is found in brain cells after 6 minutes, one drink. So it's not like the safest amount of alcohol is no alcohol, but drinking less alcohol is better than hurting yourself by binge drinking or chronic drinking. To drink less is way better. Ultimately, to drink not at all, of course, that would be the best thing, but not all of us are there yet. So to bring your drinking down to a place where it actually feels safe and okay, and like you're not getting sick all the time, way better. And take it in stages. I recommend to my clients, and this is what I've done for myself, is I just took it in stages. I started with just having one AF day a week, and that was like all I could do. That was all my nervous system would handle for a while, a few months. I think it was like 6 months, and then I moved it out to 2, and then 3, 4, 5, until I just became someone who drank on the weekends. And then at the beginning of this year, I just decided I just wasn't going to drink on the weekends. And then if there is some occasion where I feel like drinking, then maybe I will, but I have no plans or like no commitments. I don't look forward to drinking or treat it like a reward or a treat. Those are also stories and beliefs that you may have. If alcohol, you believe it's a reward or a treat, you really want to look at that belief and the thoughts that you're thinking over and over again that are keeping that association intact for you. That's a big one. So what can you do? What can you do? You can start to come home to yourself. You can start building the muscle and the capability and the capacity to be with yourself and to modify your feelings by watching your thoughts and changing your thoughts and choosing what thoughts are helping you and expanding on those, and really making conscientious efforts to notice when you're having thoughts that aren't helping you. If you're feeling and it's just getting worse, what are you thinking? Not what are you thinking about, but like literally, what are the thoughts that are going through your head? And begin to notice and begin to journal them. If you can, journal them out. To see your thoughts outside of yourself is very powerful. Breath, slow down and breathe. Just slow down. We all need to slow down and take some deep breaths intentionally. throughout the day. And I know it might feel annoying or cliche to hear that again, but it is completely true. When you're taking deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth, this is a signal to your body that you're safe. This is a signal to your nervous system to reset, to come into the rest and digest state, right? The parasympathetic nervous system. Okay. Allow your body to process emotions. So emotions are different than feelings. Emotions come in and of their own accord, right? Like if I'm on the street by myself at night and I can feel a presence behind me, I don't have to think too much about that to have an emotional sense of danger, right? And then my body's going to do something. Emotions also come from within, that are locked within inside the body, such as from traumatic experiences. So if you feel a wave of emotion, it seems like, you know, we get in these places of like sadness or anger or you know, whatever the emotion may be, and you don't necessarily know why you're experiencing that emotion. Don't try to not make yourself wrong or bad for having that experience. There's a message in the emotion. There's something locked and encoded inside the emotion. And the more you can stay with it instead of turning away from it by drinking or eating or watching porn or whatever, being with it allows it to move, and it doesn't create a stuck energy in you that then you feel like you have to flee from. It allows more space in your body, more fluidity in your nervous system. It allows you to be with you. Changing your thoughts. So you have to notice them, right? You have to see them to be able to change them. That's why meditation will help you. And that's how hypnotherapy can also help you. Because when you can change your thoughts, you can change your feelings, you can change your behaviors, you can ultimately change the experience of your life. All right. Oh, I've been talking for a long time. Okay, I'll wrap this up. And you also need to bring the unconscious conscious, right? Making your conscious mind aware. Having knowledge is so powerful of why you're actually doing what you're doing. You don't feel out of control. You feel in control. You feel like you have choice suddenly, and maybe for the first time in a long time. Oh, that's why I'm doing that, right? You need curiosity and you need compassion, because it's a process where you have to stay with yourself. Okay. And when that happens, you can also discern with your mind of today that you're not living in the past. You are not 17 anymore, right? You're not living with your parents. You're not with that abuser. That is not, your physical self is no longer in that situation. And the more you can bring that into your awareness and make yourself so fully aware, it starts to dissipate. The beliefs of the past go off with the past. You feel more present and you feel more capable of creating a future that you desire, that feels exciting to you. I call it owning the facts of your reality, right? You're not who you used to be. It might seem like you're recreating that, and I hope I've explained in this class why that might be, right? Hanging on to beliefs that you made up in the past at a time when they were helpful to you, right? But it's completely different now. You have more choices now. You have more resources now. You probably have more money now. You have more abilities and freedoms that maybe you previously did not. You actually have way more choice than you give yourself credit for. So what can you do today? What can you start doing today? You can start a meditation practice every morning, each morning. If you're listening to this early enough, maybe you start right now, or maybe you make the promise. Maybe you get an app on your phone, like Insight Timer or Calm, etc., something like that. Hey House has some really good ones. And pick a meditation and set yourself up. Put that in your future already. Set yourself up for success. Pick a time in the morning when you're going to do it. Is it after you drop the kids off at school? Are you going to get up a little bit earlier so you can do it before you have to do X, Y, Z? Plan it now, and then insert yourself mentally into that place and time. And do it again, and then do it again, and then do it again, and then do it again, until it becomes a part of the rhythm of your body. Okay, that is how you make a habit. That's how you made a habit. That's how you make a drinking habit as well. All right. So you can also question when you go to have a drink. Just pause, whether you have the drink or not. This is where you start. What am I not wanting to feel right now? And if you've just come home from work, for example, this is I know just like a huge one. This was like 90% of my drinking behavior was at 5 p.m. I just drank, no matter what. Feeling good, feeling bad, didn't matter. But what was so bothersome for me in that moment? What was I not wanting to feel, or what was I not wanting to experience, or what was I trying to get away from? So you want to ask yourself these questions as well. Just the very next time you go to have a drink. What am I not wanting to feel right now? Is it boredom? Is it stress? What is it? Okay. And what am I wanting to feel instead? What am I actually wanting? Is it just the drink? Like all the answers are in the drink? Or what is it actually what do I really want? You know, ask yourself that, because you deserve to have whatever it is that you want. And there's multiple ways to get it. So you want the feeling. The feeling is what you want. It's not really the thing. But if, as long as you believe that the thing is going to give it to you, then you're going to keep going for the thing to get your answers and to get your resolve and to get your resolution. So what is it that you really, really want? Do you want to feel good? Do you want to feel peaceful? Do you want to feel relaxed? And what is an alternate way that you can get there? Okay. And what is it that you actually need? Maybe you need the company of other people. Maybe you need a hug. Maybe you need actually just to go outside. Maybe even working inside all day and then it's like 5 o'clock time to drink. Maybe you need to go outside. Maybe you just need to get some air. Take the dog for a walk around the block, go on a hike. What do you need? What does your body need? Yeah. So notice where your thoughts are taking you. What action or behavior are your thoughts driving you to? And if you notice this voice of, you deserve it, it's been a long day, oh, just have one, oh, start this tomorrow. No, that's what you want to notice, is that you're talking to yourself like that, right? Because that is going to just keep repeating the habit for you. That's what's keeping you locked, are those thoughts. Notice that you're having those thoughts, and notice that you can change your thoughts. You don't need to run away from yourself. You can like redesign the interior, so to speak, right? You don't need to get a different house. Maybe you just need a Marie Kondo with the bedroom. Weird analogy, but you know what I mean. You don't have to go anywhere. It's all inside of you. It's all within your own capabilities and abilities to reconstruct your thinking. Think about the way you're thinking. Voila. And finally, if you would like to work with me, I love doing this with people. If you want a guide and a coach and someone to hold you accountable and to keep track of you, kind of, you know, to be in communication with, I offer a 6-week program. It's called Unobsessed. I help you get your mind unobsessed with alcohol. Because for me, that's what was driving me the most nuts. It's how much I was thinking about drinking all the damn time, whether I was drinking or not in that moment. I was thinking about, when can I get it? Or I was thinking about regret of how I did it. Oh, so much mental energy. And so the mission and the purpose of my work is to give that mental energy back to you, because it's so incredible. Our abilities and our talents and the way that we can spend our time and ourselves on the journey of this life, when we take all of that back from the power and the energy that we've given to alcohol and drinking. And I do it in steps. We don't rip it away. It's not a Band-Aid effect. We do like the process I explained earlier. You start little by little with AF days, and I teach you how to override cravings and to move through those really tricky spots. And then you stretch that out into longer spans of days, preferably during the week, until you become a conscientious weekend drinker. And then I give you a process to move on from there, how you can take it into the rest of your life. But included in this program, you do a private hypnotherapy session with me where we address the root cause, or the inciting experience of your life that developed beliefs in you that are keeping your habit intact. It's pretty cool. And you also have access within this program to the Mindful Women's Circle. The Mindful Women's Circle, we're a group of women who have come from a state of feeling really addicted, and we're somewhere on the spectrum to feeling ultimate liberation. So some people are in the beginning, some people are more in the middle, but everybody's working the process. So if you're working the process and you're active in your own healing, that circle can be for you as well. We meditate together, we do breath work, and then everybody checks in. And this is done live. It's live every week on Mondays, 7 a.m. Pacific time. And every woman checks in has the opportunity to be seen and witnessed and held for, energetically held for whatever is going on for you. So if you're feeling really awesome, we celebrate you. If you're feeling so, that's totally fine. If you're feeling awful, nobody discounts or discredits your experience, and you're allowed to speak about it. Something that I find that is really missing in a lot of relationships even is the ability to just be a listener. Just listen. So hard for people to listen to other people. I won't mention names, but I was trying to relay an experience last night, and it was met with a story about somebody else. Don't feel this way. Here's what you should do. And it's like, I just want to say what it is that I'm feeling. That is so powerful, and we just don't have enough opportunity to do it. So that's what that circle is for, and it's included in that package. You also do it on your, I've created it so you do it on your own schedule. It used to be held live and in meetings, but that excluded a lot of people, especially because I live in Europe and many of the people I speak to are in the States. So it's delivered to you through a private coaching app. You do the lesson, you do the experience. It's accompanied by hypno audios and meditations and guides and like fun tasks for you to do to keep you active and moving forward and moving in an upward spiral, as opposed to feeling complacent or lost or not knowing what to do next. Okay. So it's a method, it's a process, and it involves hypnotherapy, neurolinguistic programming, visualization, meditation, and just the curated information that I myself have gathered through this whole experience and my work as a coach and a hypnotherapist. There's that option for you as well. And that the investment of that is $1,800, or you can do a payment plan, which is $300 US made monthly for 7 months. And when I said that, if your butt just clenched and that just seemed insane, think about how much money you spend on alcohol. You could think of it that way, right? Because it's probably going to be a wash for you, or it will, if not, pay for itself in a short amount of time. Just to put it into context. I also feel, I feel comfortable with that investment price, and I think it's fair and good. And so you're entitled to your own opinion as well. And if that does not sit with you and you're just like, that's completely out of your budget, but you want some help, you want some assistance, I also have a 4-week group coaching series, and it's going to start next Wednesday, which I believe is the 15th. And that is going to be at 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And it's going to be about 90 minutes. And I will do live coaching. So I'm going to meet you where you're at. If you're in that group, you will have the opportunity to say, these are my problems, these are my challenges. And I will coach you and facilitate and help you and assist you to move past those obstacles and those stuck points. And if you want that as well, the 4-week coaching series is included in the 6-week program. So I actually think it's a great deal. And it works, and it's helpful, and it's helping, it's helped my numerous clients. It's really helped me. It brings people together. It helps you feel like you're not alone on this journey. That's $200. And I'll put those links here in the post where I post this video into the group. And thank you for being here. If you've made it this far, thank you for your time. Thank you for putting time into yourself. You are the best investment that you can make. Invest your time and your energy into you and to living the best life that you want to live. And if drinking's in your way, I hope that I've given you just some pieces of how to start busting through that. And if you have any questions, please feel free to message me. And that's that. I hope you have a beautiful, wonderful, incredible day.